Hello, this is Mr. Kent of MrKent.com. And the other day I was thinking, every time I start to lose contact when I go out way too far, I do something that's in my mind now that I've thought about it is kind of stupid. So I thought maybe everybody else is smarter than me, or maybe there's some folks out there that are stupid like me. Anyway, so I got on the internet and I looked for any information I could find on what it was I was thinking about, and I couldn't find anything. I found tons and tons of information about, well, let me tell you what it is. When you go out and you start to lose signal, and then you think, okay, this is far enough, I don't want to have to go into return to home, so then you turn around and come back. For instance, here you're here, and the drone has flown away. He's gone away out here. Now he's starting to lose signal. Okay, so what you do, if you're like me, is you turn around and come back, and everything is cool. Only in the process, when you get out here, you start losing signal, and when you turn around to come back, you lose signal more and more, and then finally you get it there and you come home, and you don't have to go into return to home. So I got to thinking, you know what? There's tons of videos on if you don't want to lose contact, make sure you have this thing setting like this so that the transmitter, so that the antennas are aimed at the drone. Okay, so if you go like this, you're going to lose contact. You go like this, or if you go like this, and so forth. So there's tons of videos on that, but I couldn't find any videos. You see, this is sending signal up, and it's receiving a signal down, and it's receiving the telemetry, and it's receiving the video that you're looking at on your tablet or your phone. Okay, and it's receiving it from these antennas. All right, so everybody's concerned about this, but I haven't found a video that's concerned about when the drone gets crooked. Now it's not aimed at the transmitter. Okay, so for best reception, the transmitter should be squared away at the drone, and the drone should be squared away at the transmitter, either that direction or that direction. Doesn't matter, but if it's sideways, this signal is not going to get picked up properly by these antennas, and the transmitting antenna, the transmissions from these antennas are not going to get picked up properly over here because they're headed out that direction. These are pretty much directional antennas, as everybody knows. So I got to thinking, I'm going to test that out. And so I got to looking at some of my other videos, and pretty much that's what happens is when I go out and I start to get bad connections, and I turn around, and then I have to do the return to home, stop the return to home, and all that kind of stuff. So this morning I went out over the golf course, which is really a poor place to test it because there's so much Wi-Fi over there. But anyway, I went over there, and then when I started to lose signal, then I backed up. And I backed up until I could get a good signal, and then I started playing around with sideways and everything like that. So I got that video, and so let's take a look at it. Plus, I'll show you some other samples of videos where the same thing happened when I started to return to home. Basic is, if you start losing signal, don't turn around to come back because you get that antenna sideways, and then you really lose signal. If you start to lose signal, as long as you're up high enough, excuse me, rule number one in flying FPV is don't go backwards. But if you're 100 feet up or so, well, then you back up, then you turn around and fly home, and you don't have to play around with Mr. Return to Home. All right, let's take a look at the videos. All right, here I am. I just entered the golf course, and like I said, this is a poor place to test it, but anyway, it was close and handy, and it was early in the morning.
And there I'm starting to lose a little bit of signal. And if you look at the top of the screen, or you can look at the two little boxes down below, and that kind of tells you how I'm doing. These parts of it, to me, would be very boring if I was watching somebody else's video, but I sped up some of it. But here I'm backing up in order to regain my signal again. And one thing that I've noticed while it's backing up, is if I put it in sport mode and fly and get way out, it'll lose signal. And I think it's because in sport mode the drone is leaning so far forward that those front antennas are almost horizontal to the ground. Because when I stop, well, then I get my signal back if I've been going 40 miles an hour. Okay, now I'm going to go back to where the same area where I lost signal before, and in this case I'm going to, when I get there, I'm going to start playing around with turning sideways and things like that. And you can see down in the lower right hand corner, I just have to get out to the end of that white line. Like I said, this is kind of boring to watch because I didn't want to speed it up because I wanted to just keep the reality here. But it was having a hard time sending down of an image, and so I couldn't tell where I was. And all right, now I'm back to where I was. Now I'm going to play around and start turning sideways to the signal. And you can see in the boxes in the bottom the image of the angle of the drone. And starting to have problems now that I'm turning around. Up at the top you can see that I'm losing the signal from the controller. I still have good video feed. It's telling me to adjust the antenna, but I can't reach the drone, so that's how it's going to have to be. And if you look down that little green line in the lower right hand corner, that's the direction to the transmitter. So now it's lined up to the transmitter. Now I'm going to fly backwards, which tilts the drone toward the back, and that lines up those little angle on the antennas a little bit better to be straight back toward me. I don't know if you ever thought about that or not. So it does fly better backwards. Alright, we're going to turn sideways again here. And if you look at the top of the screen, it's having a hard time now receiving a signal from the transmitter. So when I turn sideways, I start losing a lot more signal and have a lot more problems with the screen going dark. And if this was 1.5 miles away, it'd probably start return to home. Alright, here's another video that I had problems. This was when I was going out by the construction, and I wanted to see if I could get to 10,000 feet. And here I did, and so now I'm going to return or start heading back to home. And if you look at the angle of the drone in the lower corners there, I'm losing the telemetry signal I'm losing the transmitter signal to the drone, and there it came back when I got finally turned around towards home. But while I was turning in the corner there, or circling around, I was losing the transmitter signal. In this case, this is when I was testing out the range extenders, and I didn't notice, but if you look down in the lower right hand corner, the drone got off to an angle probably 30 degrees or so from the transmitter. And so as you can see, it starts having troubles right away. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful and you can use it. I want to thank you for watching, and God bless.